Hello and welcome to the Horror House Podcast. I'm Dave.
I am Chris. We're two dudes that like to talk about horror from movies to real life. And it just so happens, Halloween has come and gone. Dave has got movies. I've got some movies, but Dave's got the extra real life because he went out there and lived it. And we're going to talk about it all tonight. Halloween Horror Nights 2023. Dave, you was there.
Physically. I was.
Again. With your body.
Long-time listeners know that is our anniversary trip every year to the Halloween Horror Nights. And this year was no exception. We actually spent more time in the parks and at Halloween Horror Nights than we have ever done before. We kind of got into shape. We did some training, walking in the park, going to the gym to get into shape so we would be able to power through.
Around.
And yeah, oh no, this is the real fucking deal. So Stella and I have an average age of over 50 years old. And we shut the parks down 2 a.m. on Wednesday, shut the parks down 2 a.m. on Thursday, shut the parks down 2 a.m. on Friday. On Saturday, we went to SeaWorld to their Hallow Scream event, shut it down at midnight. They did, and I'll tell you about it. Shut it down at midnight on Saturday, and then on Sunday, we took a break and took a rest. Except we did go to Halloween Horror Nights, and we didn't shut it down. We did stay till after midnight, though. So, yeah, suck it, young people.
I'm sweating now thinking of all the walking that took place over that, all that. I need a break. I need a break already.
We put it in between that and the parks during the day and cruising around Orlando and some of the other shit we got to do. I mean, this was a full trip, and it was grand.
Tell them about the horse shop that you went to.
Oh, yeah. So shout out to Atomic Horror. They are online, atomichorror.com. It is a horror fan's paradise. They've got shirts and memorabilia, but they have these displays. They had a Jason with the chain around his neck, with the whole backdrop behind him painted up like the campground. It looked great. They had a giant basket case item for sale. They had I neglected to get a picture of the ghoulie coming out of the toilet. They had a big trioxin container with tar bands still inside of it and lights and everything like that.
Nice.
They had a newsstand with the They Live magazines, just the white pages, black print, no independent thought, marry and reproduce, etc. And there was a TV above it showing Static. But they had sunglasses sitting on the case. And when you put the sunglasses on, they were polarized sunglasses. So when you looked at the screen with the sunglasses on, then you could see that it wasn't just Static. It was actually playing a black and white version of They Live. They had a whole little closet with the slats beat in and Mike Myers coming through with the kitchen knife. My God, it was a mecca. It was great. I'm acting like a kid in a fucking candy store, a diabetic fat kid in a candy store. And the girls working were so nice and patient. And I entered a contest to win up to $1,000 worth of realistic portrait tattoo. I did not win, but that's okay. That's okay. Hashtag not a sponsor. Atomic Horror. If you're in Orlando, check it out. They do have an online presence.
But they could be a sponsor if they wanted to be. All you got to do is you say yes and be a sponsor. Atomic Horror. You could do that. You could do that.
You could do it so easily. We can be bought for cheap when you're cool like
We've
that.
got 1 million coupon codes just waiting to be activated by somebody.
Yeah. Do you want to use Horror House 2? Do you want to use Horror House 2023? Do you want to use Horror House Drink Up? What do you want to use?
The options just yeah. Next, rather. How's about let's drop a movie that one of us have watched.
Sure.
And then we'll just kind of go through some stuff. We planned this perfectly and know exactly the order of things for which we will speak, I think. But not really at all.
Wink.
Not even.
Wink, wink.
So, Dave.
They knew we were lying when you said planned. We planned.
Yeah.
That's not our style.
So, what's a movie? What is a movie that you have taken in during this Halloween season, in between your exhausting marathons of Halloween Horror Nights?
I'm going to start, Chris, with a movie that we both have watched. David Gordon Green, Exorcist Believer.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
We watched it at the movie theater, at the Cinemark at Universal Studios. So
that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. That takes it up a notch, I would think.
A fun story. When we walked in and I went to the concession stand, I thought, because movie, even the lobby area was kind of dark. It was night. It was Tuesday night, so Halloween Horror Nights is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. So we watched it on Tuesday night in anticipation of going to the park and Halloween Horror Nights on Wednesday. Go to the concession stand, and I thought, because I'm old and blind, that they had Universal Monsters commemorative popcorn buckets. And so I asked the dude, I was like, I want the Universal Monsters popcorn bucket and cup. And he looked at me like I was crazy and turned around and he looked back at me and he said, "You mean this, the Taylor Swift bucket and fucking cup?" And yes, I did want that. And then I was like, well, I pulled out my credit card and I pulled out my annual pass to see it. But turns out I can't get a discount on concessions at the movies. But he like jumped back when I pulled out the pass and I didn't know what it was up. And he's like, "No, man, I thought you were whipping out a badge on me or something." I was like, "Yeah, man, I work for the DOJ. And if you don't give me extra butter on my popcorn, I'm going to be pissed off."
You better be finding the Universal's commemorative cup.
Right. You better dig one up, motherfucker. But for a hot second, he believed me when I said I worked for the DOJ. He was like, "Man, that's cool." I was like, "No, not really. I don't work for the fucking DOJ." So, side note.
So, without going heavy into it, because I think we may have to bring Jeff on, since we did do the trailer talk about it, to give it any kind of a chance to get I wouldn't even say a decent score, but like a score. That's not utterly.
It needs to breathe a little bit. David Gordon Green movies are like a hot fart. They need to breathe a little.
Breathe a little bit.
That might be an insult to hot farts.
I think it's kind of perfect because depending on the hot fart, like the Halloween Ends, I'm like, I can withstand what it's doing. But this one, I want out of the car. I don't care how fast it's going. This is too much.
We kind of found, we might be on kind of opposite sides here a little bit, but it is a continuation. Ellen Burstyn did make her appearance. Spoiler alert, if you have not watched it yet and intend to watch it, Linda Blair maybe makes an appearance. Maybe it's not really her. I really don't know. I think it is her.
I don't think this,
because I had read that
entire movie exists. It's not in my canon.
It does. And I'm going to come and I'm going to get a projector and I'm going to project it through the window of your bedroom at night. So it just creeps into your brain.
Little do you know, I'm already on restrainingorder.com. And it says David Gordon Green already has too many applicants. So
much for that. I'm not high on this movie. Clearly, I'm the exact opposite of high on this movie. So yeah, maybe we need to talk more when Jeff is around.
It's the only way that this movie is going to get any kind of points, because I'm going to cancel you out wherever you're sitting, probably. So,
So I will say, I thought this was better after walking through the Halloween Horror Night house. The immersion of the house made me think about the movie more. Plus, one thing that the Halloween Horror Night house had that the movie did not, again, spoiler alert, is they had the demon was actually in the house like 10 different times and popped out at you and scared the fuck out of you. But in true Universal fashion, they play with all your senses in these houses. And there was an odor, like a reeking demonic odor throughout the Exorcist house. It wasn't super strong, but it was definitely very noticeable.
I think that means David Gordon Green is on the scene.
It might have been a David Gordon Green hot fire on the set. But the effects were cool. They had things that elevated your eye line, like they had the one girl floating and puking on the ceiling, and they had some different stuff to change up your eye line. They had some false walls. Every haunted house has the false walls that like a picture will slide down and there's a scare actor behind it to reach out and boo you.
Right.
Universal does have those. I'm not saying it doesn't have those, but they do good. Sometimes they'll have walls that are really mirrored glass, and so when they change the lighting, then you can see the scare actor on the other side, which is even scarier and creepier. And they really got Stella good one time. She was coming through. They got me a couple times. She was coming through the house, and the lights changed, and so the one girl was on the right side of the hallway, and she like jumped back to the left, and then that lighting changed, and that girl was there and pounded on the glass, and so they got her bam bam, which it was fantastic.
Nice. So do you want to rate the houses as you talk about them, or do you want to wait till the end and then bang bang bang? Well, how you
let's wait till the end. And I think that you'll probably get a pretty good idea of which houses I thought were good and which were lacking. Spoiler alert, it's Dave. Right. Dave likes everything.
Dave rates high.
Yeah. Yep. I got to be true to myself.
Now, before we leave The Exorcist behind, something that I forgot to put on my notes, but it is something that I listened to. It's not a movie, but it is. I'll take in an audiobook from time to time. I kind of like them. Recently, last couple weeks, I listened to The Exorcist read by William Peter Blatty, and it was fucking great. It was 10 out of 10. I mean, he does fucking voices. Whenever he does the demon, like I fell asleep listening to it when I first started it, and at some point he talks in like Reagan's possessed, and the Pazuzu is coming out of her. I woke up and I'm like, nope, get these earbuds out of me. Now ain't the time for that. Wasn't expecting Satan in my ears as I was asleep, so. But it was fantastic. I super duper recommend it if you love the original Exorcist. If you've read the book, which I did, but it's been decades. And if you've not read the book, then what better way to listen to it than William Peter fucking Blatty reading it to you?
That is really, really fucking cool.
And one more last Exorcist thing before we move on from the Exorcist.
Sure.
Just yesterday, my wife got an Amazon package, which is strange for a Saturday around here, out in the country. Don't usually get the UPS on Saturdays. Opens it up. She has a couple things that she got for herself. Hands me The Exorcist in 4K. It's here.
Oh, damn, dope.
I've not watched it yet. I gotta be I gotta be ready. But it's been a very Exorcist month. So
Your niece has watched the original.
she told me. And I'll still claim her as
Disowned
my niece,
her?
even though she was like, "You old heads are fucking stupid." That's not what she said, but that's how it hit me. I'm like, oh, I mean, yeah, it's slow, but
Yeah, no, yeah. I still love her.
Yeah, but there's all of the Exorcists. That was a big Exorcist dump. We just had almost maybe over 10 minutes of just the Exorcist stuff. I love it. Don't love David Gordon Green, but I love
without
Exorcist.
really going into the detail of either movie. So yeah, they're still on the table.
But next, give me another movie, Dave. What else?
So I'm going to jump back in time in the movie that came out a while back prior to David Gordon Green's Bedlam. I did get a hankering for. This wasn't just something I just came across and said, yeah, you know what, let's do it. I actually searched out and wanted to watch Rob Zombie's Halloween. So I did watch the first one. I did start the second one, and I ended up turning it off to go to sleep. I mean, I'm not going to
put yourself
say much more than that. I just want to focus on the first one. The first one is not bad. I really kind of like. There's some things that were not choices I would make. But it is a fan service film still, but it feels like it's in a Rob Zombie world. You know, everybody's just a little bit sleazier.
I'll give that movie way more credit than I give David Gordon Green's 3 that he did. The first two,
okay,
like I can accept people being like, they're okay, but I don't think they're as good as Rob Zombie's first one. Even though I've not watched it goddamn in years, maybe over 10 years now since I've watched it. May have to do that one day. But I watch the OG Halloween on Halloween every year. That has become my thing the last several years.
Okay.
This year, I literally turned it on, and then just when it would end, I would just start it over.
Okay.
I wasn't like actively watching it because I mean, but like, just have it playing all day.
Just passive, yeah. We watched from Universal. We watched a large part of maybe nearly all of the original second one. So
nice.
That's probably why I was in the mood for Rob Zombie when I got home. It's like, I just want to see where this holds up, because it had been for me also a long time since I had watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And
when's the last time you watched House of a Thousand Corpses? As long?
This year? No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I really like House. So I don't know that I watch it every year, but I've watched it several times. I like it a lot. I just the other day saw a really dope Dr. Satan mask, and
it's still a cool look. I wish they had done more with that. But
yes, right. Yeah. I mean, he needs his own spinoff or something.
That whole ending,
prequel.
I was like, this is what I wanted the whole movie to be. I'm sure there's Rob Zombie fans that would smack me in the mouth for saying such things, but this is the world we live in. Um, to piggyback on you before we get to your next house, I also watched an older film. Mine is very stupid circumstances. Not circumstances, but my brain is stupid. I started watching a movie on Shudder, and I'm like, oh shit. I remember seeing something about this movie, like a documentary thing, like a clip. And I've always kind of wanted to watch it, and so I'm watching it, and I'm like, "What? Nothing is what I thought. This is not the." I was thinking of Dress to Kill, and I was watching Fade to Black from 1980. Completely other different movie.
Okay.
But not bad.
Yep.
Not bad. Tim Thomerson's in it. If you to call back fucking Full Moon again, but Trancers, which I love Trancers. He's got a kind of a subplot in this as he's counselor or psychiatrist or something working with the police, but it's lopsided. He's barely in it, but it's really about a kid that's super into old movies and then kind of loses his mind. And it's not really a horror movie. It has horror elements, I guess, but it's got some classic horror movies as fuel here and there. Shows some Night of the Living Dead at one point. He's dressed up as Dracula watching Night of the Living Dead in a theater with people. It's, not a bad throwback, but not. I wouldn't recommend that if you wanted something old to watch. Like, that you can do better. But if you've exhausted all your options already, why not? Why not? And then I also listened to the audiobook of Fade to Black read by Tim Thomerson.
Okay. That's you were on a audiobook kick there.
But not really. I hope that's not a thing. But yeah. Next in Dave's adventures, tell us what you next experienced.
Yeah, so talked about the Exorcist house. The first house? I don't think it's the first. The first house we went to this year, because I think this was the first house. The only house we did not go in more than once this year, and that was just because there are always some houses that the lines get and stay incredibly long.
Right.
And I think COVID really had the biggest impact on this franchise out of maybe anything in the public conscious, and it's Stranger Things. The house was cool. Vecna looked cool. He looked wet. The whole house looked wet. Like there were parts where with the upside down, they all just looked wet. There was a part where there was the hole in the ceiling and the sheet coming down and the kids climbing down or up into from world to world. There was the part.
This is what I was going to ask, I think.
Yes, they had Munson on top of the trailer and fighting off the bats.
Did they get licensed music?
And
did they get
no?
No.
Hold on. They had. I believe the music was playing, but they did not have Munson on the trailer playing.
Oh, as long.
So that was a.
But they still.
That was a wasted opportunity.
They still had Master Puppets though.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I believe they did. Like I said, I only did that house once, and sometimes my first run through a house, like I'm such a awe that I don't get to. My brain can't comprehend all the details coming at me at once.
Taking it all in, it's too much to.
Yeah,
you can't single in on something. You gotta, yeah. But as long as Puppets was playing, all is right for me.
Yeah,
you couldn't have that music.
It was really cool. Like I said, I think you would have liked the effects and the
people
the costuming because it really looked wet.
Yeah.
So Stranger Things was cool, but after that initial time we went through, and we went through that first house first day because we stayed in the scare zone that emptied into that, so we got to go through without waiting in a 2-hour line. But other than that, I don't think I ever saw the wait time for Stranger Things at less than an hour. After
Wow.
so
And I mean,
it was popular. It stayed popular.
it's been over a year since that season ended, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it would be last year that it would
And
be on there. So
yeah, I mean, it just for it to still be that popular is amazing to me. I've said that I think we've both talked about this several times. We're gonna have to do an episode and just cover Stranger Things. I don't know. We'll have to let us know, Rabble. Should we do the whole show as it is, or should we do like a season at a time? That's a long haul thing. That's gonna be like a one season for a entire horror house season, a year of horror house, because it's gonna take so long to get through it. But
you
we need
might
to just talk about it. I don't know.
even if we just do the whole thing at once, you're probably talking about a 2-part episode
Very potentially, yeah. I mean,
because there's just so much.
but let us know what you would like us to do because we're getting closer and closer. It seems like and then the final season is still like 2 years out, or maybe just a year now. The kids are going to be grandparents by the time it's done.
Right.
But I'm excited. I'm excited that it's still as popular. So that's cool. What are the scare zones? Was there any of like big scare zones this year? Because I know in the past there's been like what, I can't even remember, like big didn't Rob Zombie have one or something like that? Wasn't that
Rob Zombie has had one. Chucky has had one. Zombieland has had them a couple times. They've had some really big IPs do scare zones. These were all originals this year. A theme that's come around several times. They had Vamp 84. This year they had Vamp 69, Summer of Blood, and which I think was voted, at least on one website I saw, voted the best scare zone of the year, and it was a really good one. They had a stage with a dead band. They had hippie vampires running around. They had a couple looked like food stations, but then they had dead bodies and they were cutting people up.
nice?
It was the music was straight from Woodstock, and it was a really good one. They had another one, Jungle of Doom, which really grew on us at the more we were at the parks. It was a small one. It was between the back of the park next to Springfield and New York. So it was kind of bridging that. So that's a small area for a scare zone, but the fog was thick. The makeup was good. The scares were good. The scare actors in that area were really good. They had another one, Dr. Oddfellow's Collection of Horrors, which was like it was kind of set up like it was on a pier. They had a cage and they would rotate which creature was in the cage. They had a Stiltwalker bat lady. That one was really cool. Oh no, that was Shipyard 32. I'm sorry, that was Shipyard 32. Dr. Oddfellow's Collection of Horrors was up to the front, and that was the one that I thought was just kind of a letdown. There wasn't a whole lot of theming with it. So that one was a little bit of a letdown. Dark Zodiac was another one, though, that was really good. And I got to confess how dumb I am, Chris. We had probably walked through Dark Zodiac 4 or 5 times. It might have been the third day we were walking through. And Stella goes, There she is. There she is. Did you get a picture of the Gemini? And it was a cool makeup, and then had like this different, like mirrored makeup for the back. So if she was standing still, you might not know whether she was coming or going. Like if you were looking at her front or her back. But they had two different faces, two different kind of thing.
Right.
It was really cool. But when Stella said that, I was like, oh, they are the zodiac signs. Because there was a giant scorpion lady, and yeah, I am dumb.
Well, like we said, you were taking the whole thing in. It's hard to hone in and focus on a I'm doing my best.
Yeah,
best I can.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. But the scare zones, I know I've seen a lot of people kind of pooping on some of the scare zones, but I thought they were all pretty good, except maybe that one up front. I did get to meet Dr. Oddfellow at the Dark Zodiac.
I like the name.
And talk to him a little bit. So it was, I thought they were really good. We did one thing that we've done different than most years, because having the luxury of getting to spend more days and more time in the park let us slow down a little bit. And so we several times just got a seat near the scare zone and just watched. And just got to watch the actors do their thing. And that was so much fun. It was really, really enjoyable. So
nice. All right. Next, do you want to do another movie? What you got? What are you cooking?
I got another one that the internet is a little bit of buzz about. I did see a post today said if you didn't get a chance to watch this, you might hold on to it till next year's Halloween season, because it is themed to the holiday. But it's Dark Harvest. For some reason, my brain, I thought this was going to be an anthology tale. So when I turned it on and it was not, it was kind of confusing to me, but it starts off with a very mysterious setup. There's a kid in a mask, multiple kids in masks running through the cornfields. One kid kind of breaks off from the group, and they're all like running around. You don't know what they're running around for, but the monster finds one kid and kills him. Meanwhile, the kids see the monster and take off after the monster. So they're not running from the monster. They're trying to find the monster. But then they're like shouting, he's making a break for the church. And one kid kind of catches up with him and baseball bats him and kills him. And then they rip open his chest and they're just eating his innards. And so you're really in a what the fuck scenario, like right off the bat. And I won't go any further than that. I won't go full spoiler alert here, but yeah, I really thought this was an original type of story. I won't say it was like some of the twists were not super surprising, but it was a good film. It was a good film. I liked it. I liked it very much. From MGM. I didn't even know MGM was still making fucking movies. So good on you, MGM.
There we go. I'll piggyback off the internet hype, and I watched When Evil Lurks. And won't go too much into it, but from Argentina. We may end up doing episodes on both these movies at some point. But I didn't love it like the internet does. I didn't hate it. There is some decent gore, and some decent story ideas, but the story they're telling just didn't progress in ways that was compelling to my garbage brain. I needed more than what they were offering. But I think check it out, especially being from Argentina. Like I don't know that I've ever watched an Argentina horror film before. So it is subtitles if you're not down with the subtitles. You may have to go elsewhere, but I did.
Is
Go ahead.
Was Terrified from Argentina?
Terrified.
I feel like it
I
was.
don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. We might have to talk about that sometime.
But I started watching this very late one night, and I started doing that thing where you're dozing and you wake up like who knows, like a few seconds, few minutes. It's anybody's guess.
Right. Right.
And I'd wake up and like be lying to myself. I'm like, oh, it's fine. I didn't miss that much. I'll figure it out. And then there's a new character, and then this character, the other characters are gone, and you keep doing it. A little bit of sleep, back up. I'm like, what the fuck is even happening? I have to just stop after so long. I lost all course and had to finish it the next day. But yeah, I mean, go check it out. Go check Dark Harvest out. Get all the and also another movie that neither of us have watched, but another Hell House that is getting mad internet hype right now. And my God, I'm gonna watch it. I'm probably gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to. Hell House LLC Origins, the Carmichael Manor.
What a name.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
But I mean, horror fans are getting some stuff right now, so get it while the getting's good. Next for Halloween Horror Nights, Dave, regale us.
Sure. So we talked Exorcist Believer, we talked Stranger Things, and we hit the scare zones. So let's jump into a house that, spoiler alert, I liked better the second time. Stella would not even go through the second time because she did not like the house, and that was Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. It is based on the TV show, and we started to watch it, and it was going so slow. Like, I don't know that we made it to the third episode. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. We watched the second damn episode. Because it's just so fucking slow. But the house makes me want to go back and watch it. And the especially the second time I walked through, I met some really cool people. I was in line with, and we were talking, and the dude behind me and his girlfriend, like, he was super into it, and he was apparently knew all the kills and knew all the references in the house. And she was absolutely fucking terrified. She almost knocked me down one time to get away from a scare. All 60 pounds of her. So it was great. They even made it better. The second time I walked through, I come down one hallway, and on the left there was a giant portrait of Chucky wearing a Christmas sweater and drinking a hot cocoa in front of the fireplace. And on the right, there's a fireplace. Well, I didn't notice it the first time I went through. The second time I went through, I noticed there's a big red button right next to the fireplace. So, despite the fact that last year I got approached by a team member and told not to touch stuff in the house, I hit the fucking button, and it started billowing smoke in the hallway from the fireplace. It was pretty cool. But you go through the house, and then you think you're out, but really it's just a quick break, and then you're back in. And it's very over the top. It's more animatronics and then victims. I would think it would be cool to have a little person dressed as Chucky, but did not have that. Yeah. I think they could have if they really wanted to, but it's very tongue in cheek, and I think Chucky is best when he's that, because otherwise, how do you take him seriously?
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I would be hard pressed. I don't know if Brad Dourif does the voice for the show. Do you know?
I have no idea. I've watched nothing of the show.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if he does. Devin Sawa's in 6. Oh, yeah, he is. Brad Dourif plays Chucky. Devin Sawa is in it, apparently. So, I mean, yeah, maybe I need to go back and watch this. But I thought it sounded like his voice doing the voice in the house, too. So, it probably was.
Okay. Do you have another movie?
Sure. Recent released phenomenon internet people are going crazy for Five Nights at Freddy's. After returning from Universal, me, Matt, and Jackie went to see Five Nights. And I have played 0 total minutes of the game. I have watched 0 total minutes of anything on the web about the game.
You're not subscribed
I
to
just
Markiplier?
know it exists.
What are you doing with your life?
I do like Markiplier. I do like MatPat. MatPat was in the movie. Markiplier was supposed to be in the movie, but had a scheduling conflict with his own movie that he's doing, like Bloodlong or Redlong or some shit like that.
Oh, shut
up. But I did chuckle out loud during MatPat's cameo. Spoiler alert. During MatPat's cameo, I chuckled aloud. So it was good, and I enjoyed the movie. Josh Hutcherson, I think is his name, that plays the security guy for the movie. When Matt was younger, like Josh Hutcherson was the guy that played kids in Matt's age range. So, there's a nostalgia to him for me, but I don't have a hook into the Five Nights movie. But Matthew Lillard is in it. Of Scream fame. So Stu Macher. There you go. 13 Ghosts too.
They are TikTok. I think internet at large is trying to push this Matthew Lillard Scream thing. I just want to be left alone. Internet, leave me alone with this. The whole fucking shit is desperately trying to push Matthew Lillard on me as of this last year. And I mean, I ain't got nothing against him. I have no want for him, though. Quit trying to sell me shit. I don't want it. I don't want it, Dave. Tell him to fuck off. It's too much. Constantly. God. I think I have PTSD.
I can't. I like Matthew Lillard. I do. And I'm not saying that you're not liking him. Yeah.
But God, you're like, Stu's
but enough is enough.
Dead. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I don't care.
Yeah. Do I anticipate him appearing in the Scream franchise? No. I actually do not. At this point, I don't think he's going to appear back in the Scream franchise.
But if he did,
do I think?
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'll watch it. I'm watching all the Screams as they come out.
Have you watched the newest Scream? I don't remember if we talked about it.
Yeah.
Was you kind of?
I thought it was the best cold open, because Scream always has the cold opens.
Right.
I thought it was the best cold open since the original.
Okay.
I watched the cold open and I really thought, okay, here we fucking go. This is going to be an insane roller coaster. And then it didn't pan out the way my brain made it. Oh, so
Fair. I've not watched the. I don't think I'm gonna watch the newest one. I hated the last one so much, and then the one before that also was not for me. And I'll just bow out and say that this franchise is no longer, you know. So when it comes to Matthew Lillard, just don't get fire. I'm
unsubscribe. Unsubscribe to Matthew Lillard.
Did I wait? Did I talk? No, I've not talked about it. Night of the Hunted is a movie that I have watched.
Okay.
And it is also on Shudder, a newer recent one. It is not one of the getting super hyped from the internet, and for reason.
Okay.
It started off kind of promising, I guess, but it fell on its face pretty quick, and then just stayed there, and just kept like pushing its face into the linoleum, trying to get further in it, you know. Like it can't go lower.
Is it Scandinavian?
No, it's an American flick, I believe. It's literally a woman in a gas station trying to hide from a sniper, which is an interesting idea if they can make an entire movie interesting around that concept, which I'm sorry they didn't. And in the story supporting it, and as it's revealed, is frustrating and just stupid. Alexander Aja, who we just talked about, God, what Hills Have Eyes? Was that him?
Yeah, maybe.
He was I want to say he was a producer on this, and yeah. That's all I can say.
Okay.
But I mean, check it out if you want something to watch in the background. It's not. I mean, it kind of it's doing the political thing at some point, but it's not. It's not picking a side. It's just like making both sides like. It just made me want to turn the movie off. I'm like, shut up. It was like Matthew Lillard was being forced upon me on TikTok videos relentlessly. But worse, way worse. But yeah, didn't love it. I didn't have great success with the Halloween movies this year. I think Halloween for me in general this year was just kind of I didn't have the spirit. I wasn't hyped for really anything, and just it kind of came and went for me. I was not there for it. But that's on me. That's
Chris.
on me.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. You got to keep the spirit alive in your heart.
There's just not much you can do sometimes. No fault of my own. Maybe it's all my fault. Oh God, it's all my fault. Did I say I had PTSD earlier? I may. But
from Matthew Lillard TikToks or from
maybe I didn't realize I was that stressed out about Matthew Lillard and Scream coming back. But speaking of good Halloween stuff, what else you got for the horror nights?
I'm going to talk about probably the house that was most anticipated for me, and mostly because of Matt and Jackie, but also from the TV show The Last of Us. I did get through the house twice, and I'm super grateful that I braved 2 hours in line.
Oh my God!
To go through the second time. I am glad, because the first time I went through, we were at the very front of the line, thanks to Stay in the Screen. So we went through first, and it was so bright outside that my eyes didn't adjust, and so it was just seemed so dark. They didn't have the lights in the house on, because it was so bright outside. So I'm glad I went through the second time. Went through the second time. It's more based on the I really don't know if I don't really don't know. I'd say the game. I'd say it's more based on the game, but it doesn't. It's
Right.
not a house that follows linearly through. It's more of a we're going to set some things and we're going to set some scenes up, but it's not just taking you through the plot. You start off with the survivors. You have the part where Ellie has the shotgun and she says, "Die, motherfucker!" and fires the shotgun, and it's loud as fuck in the house when she does. Then you start getting the zombies. Then you start getting clickers. And then you get bloaters at the end. And the second time I went through the house, I got a bloater that wanted to just get in my fucking face. And he was, oh my, dude, this dude was large and in charge. It was terrifying because just the physical presence. So it was really good. It was really good.
Nice.
They had the food stations with the Last of Us food. Were really cool.
Food?
Well, yeah, they ran out before we got there with the vegan mushroom ravioli cans.
Oh my! Oh,
and I really wanted that because I wanted to keep a couple of the cans as collector's items, but we didn't get a chance to. They ran out. But they did have a cordyceps corn dog, which is a Korean corn dog, which I've never had. I love hot dogs. I love corn dogs. So I got the cordyceps corn dog, and it's like it's a mozzarella stick, and then a hot dog, and then another mozzarella stick, and then they batter everything, and it was so big and good and melty. It was great.
I didn't think about themed food. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, they have themed food for everything. I got a confetti dog one night that was, the like the cake pops that have the confetti drops, inside the cake batter.
Right.
It was confetti hot dog bun, a red hot dog with Kool-Aid flavored pickles.
I've been seeing those a lot, like sweet, Kool-Aid-ish, the sugary kind of pickles. I'm very intrigued, but also scared. Because I'm not a big pickle guy.
I'll stick with my spicy pickles.
It's an intriguing time for pickle enthusiasts. The
world is your oyster. If I can, I want to jump into another house before we go back to movies.
I am done
that is
with my movies, so
okay.
It's all you.
So I really have a spot in my heart for the classic Universal monsters and that old shit.
Right.
And so the Universal monsters this year was Universal Monsters Unmasked, and I will admit I was a little disappointed last year with Universal Monsters Collide. That had Dracula, the Wolfman, and the Mummy. Mm-hmm. And I think it had the Bride of Frankenstein even. Because I remember getting her fucking yelling in my ear.
Oh, I remember you talking. Yeah.
But Unmasked this year focused on what I think are probably lesser tier classic Universal monsters. The Invisible Man, the Phantom of the Opera, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and the Hunchback of Notre Dame. But the house did not disappoint. It was super cool. The Invisible Man was the Vincent Price, head wrapped, wearing like the leisure suit jacket, the satin smoking jacket and shades when he made the appearance. The Phantom of the Opera makeup was really cool. The Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde makeup was super cool. And the second time I walked through, there was one section where he's got like a victim laid on a slab, and he's like chewing on the victim's back, and the victim's like shaking on the table, you know. And right when I walked by, he lifted his head up and sneered and yanked back on the victim's head, so the victim kind of pulls backwards, and then I got sprayed with, you know, I think it was just water. I didn't never see any color to anything, but I mean, at the time, it feels like, oh my god, I just got splashed with the victim's blood. And then there was one part where you're going through, and Quasimodo is up above your head, maybe 12 to 15 feet in the air, and he's walking back and forth, and then he leans forward, and he comes out of the window to where he's perpendicular to the ground on a bungee, and then bungees back up into his perch. It was so fucking cool. I thought he was falling on my damn head. And it was a live actor. It wasn't a dummy. It was super, super cool. So I got a hats off to Universal Monsters Unmasked. I'm just going to keep going through these, Chris. If you got anything to say, you know, jump in. One of my favorite houses of the Halloween Horror Nights, I might have done this house 4 times. Definitely 3. It was Blood Moon Dark Offerings, and it's a cult. Has like slaughtered everybody in this town, and like they're praying and they're saying things, and there's multiple levels. There's several times where there's cult members, one in a bell tower, one up on a balcony. So your eye level is constantly moving, which kind of throws you off too. And they call you non-believers, and I mean, just it was super moody and super cool. Yeti Campground Kills. This might be 3 or 4 times that the Yetis have made an appearance at Halloween Horror Nights, and the same website that I saw that voted Vamp 69 the best scare zone of the year voted Yeti the best house of the year. And it's hard to argue. It was really cool. The Yetis look really cool. The stories are always really cool. And there is a story, and even without like the tour and someone telling me the story, a hunter killed a baby Yeti, and so they come looking for revenge. And there's even a giant bear, not just a Yeti. But this was one of the rare times when you first walk up to the set, which is the house, like the set. You're outside of a campground. You're walking around beside the cabin. There's some pine trees and stuff like that. And usually it's a lot of times in the opening set, you'll hear the creepy music or whatever, audio or whatever effect. But they don't usually put a scare in that spot. But they did. They had a Yeti right inside the door. And scared the fuck out of me. It was really good. Darkest Deal had a cool story. This blues musician makes a deal at the crossroads with the devil for fame and fortune. And so then as you're going through the house, like he's playing, at first he's playing in like rundown little gin joints, and then later on he's up on stage, and it's a nice stage, it's a nice setup, and he's up there jamming with a guitar, and then the demon comes out of the shadow in the corner of the stage and does this thing with his hands, and all of a sudden the musician, you hear the discordant like, and he stops playing, and he's like stands at attention like he's possessed by the demon and being puppeted. And fantastic Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins is like a carnival go wrong, and they had one of the best scares I've ever seen in my life. They had a box with a body in the box, and above the box they had the carnival dude with a head. So the body in the box had no head, but then the carnival barker above has the victim's head. And a couple times he'll like draw his knife across and splash one time, and then one time he's just talking to you while he's got the head, and suddenly the body puts the arms up and comes rocketing out of the box at you. I was totally not prepared for that. I may have peed a little bit. It was great. And then they had one based on the story of Merlin, Dueling Dragons, Choose Thy Fate, where they had, it was not very scary, but they have ice wizards and fire wizards, and both are scaring you, but they had this effect where like you would see a beam, and they're, all the lights are like in the walls, but you see the beam travel across, and then when it strikes the wall, then it's like a web of ice or a web of fire coming out. And then at the end of the thing, as it tells you the story of how the fire dragon is trying to defeat Merlin and take over the realm, you get your choice. You can go left or you can go right. Now, they don't tell you which side you're choosing when you go either way, but we lucked out that both times we went through, one time we chose left, we chose right. And both times when we did that, the people in front of us went the other way. So we had nobody in front of us when we went through our choice. And they're both kind of short, but one side, it's like one last scare and Merlin thanks you for saving the realm. And the other side, one last scare and the fire dragons will rule the world or some shit like that. But it was a really cool concept. So, yeah. SeaWorld. I mentioned SeaWorld. We did their Hallow Scream for the first time ever. I sent you a video of this dancer that just dancing on stage in the corner of the bar. I mean, looking good with the thong and fishnets on, and it was cool. I had seen on the web, and it turned out it was true that they give the scare actors more license, and they really do. There were a couple times where the scare actors would hide in the bushes along the path and just reach out and fucking scare the fuck out of you. Just not even in the house, just as you're walking around. They would get into your face. They would follow people. I got fat shamed twice. At one point, a butcher in the house pointed his cleaver at my belly and said, "That's some good marbling right there." And another time we were in another house and we had fallen back from the group in front of us, which they do staggered entry at SeaWorld, which kudos to you. Universal, learn from that. Staggered entry. But they did staggered entry, but I still fell behind my group on purpose so I could get the scares to myself a little bit. But
Right.
Then one of the scare actors was yelling at me, "Hurry up, fat boy!"
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Stella said while I was in line for a ride, she heard him come up to somebody and say, "Hey, you're pretty ugly." And I did have a clown ask me, I was trying to take her picture, and she said, "Are you making a TikTok?" I said, "No, just a regular picture." And then she started not talking about mocking me. She goes, "No, just a regular picture. Get the fuck out of here."
Jesus
Dang,
Christ.
they're fucking brutal here.
SeaWorld is out of control.
Yeah, they went hard, and it was good. It was good. The food was good there too. It was a little more plain Jane. Like Universal goes crazy with some of the specialty foods sometimes. I did try the peanut butter burger at Universal.
God bless you.
Which is a cheeseburger with jalapeno bacon, cherry peppers, peanut sauce, and raspberry jelly. And it was really fucking good.
All right.
But at SeaWorld, I got a nacho dog, which was a hot dog with melted queso cheese, crushed Doritos, jalapenos, and sour cream. So,
all right. Is that what you showed me?
I might.
No, you showed me regular nachos.
Yeah, that's the volcano nachos at
The size
Margaritaville, man.
of Kilimanjaro.
They are huge. They aren't just a pile of chips with toppings on the outside. Like, they layer chili and cheese throughout. Stella and I get those, and you've seen me eat. We can't ever finish them. The one year for the beat up, me, Stella, Matt and Jackie, the four of us, and that's all we got was the nachos, and could not finish them. So the nachos are the real deal. But I must have ate, between me and Stella combined, we must have ate 10 hot dogs. Oh, the hot dogs were so good. Just plain old fucking hot dogs. Hot dogs and corn dogs. I ate a ton of corn dogs too. And I told Stella, the next time we go to the meetup, my goal is to eat my height in corn dogs, which is 6 foot long corn dogs. So, you gotta have goals in life, Chris.
I like it.
Overall, I'm opposite that you for the Halloween. I thought it was a pretty good season. I'm in the mood. I saw a lot. I bought a ton of shit. I got a souvenir for you and Fonda. I showed you a picture of my Tarman Tiki. I got Stella hand-painted ceramic Sam. I got Jackie a hand-painted ceramic Coraline bobblehead. Got Matt and Jackie Last of Us t-shirts. The merch haul was great. I got a Hellfire Club shot glass that is humongous. It's probably a 3-ounce shot glass. I got an Exorcist, Last of Us, Stranger Things, and Chucky 4-pack of shot glasses. I got the standard Halloween Horror Night shot glass. So, I mean, it's on like Donkey Kong. It was a great chance to catch up. I can't wait. Season 6 is right around the fucking corner. And I cannot wait. I am super duper excited. So I can't wait to do that some more and to share the horror goodness with you guys. Just a reminder, we appreciate feedback. We appreciate likes and follows. It really helps the channel out. On the socials, you can hit us up on Twitter. I refuse to call it anything else. At Sweetness1 with 6 E's. At Horror House 2, because there are 2 of us. You can send us an email at horrorhousepodcast@gmail.com. You can look us up on Facebook on the Horror House page. You can find us on Slasher, the social media network for horror fans. I am Horror House Dave. Chris is Horror House Chris. The show is on iTunes, Spotify. Please give us ratings and reviews, and on YouTube at the Horror House Podcast. And that, folks, dear rabble, going forward, is where we're going to put the biggest emphasis on the YouTube's channel, and just trying to bring you good content. I know it's just thumbnails with audio right now, but we are working on some things going forward, and having followers, having ratings and comments and likes and views, share us around. Those things really help us to move forward with more content and with video at some point. And we look forward to hearing from you. So thank you very much. See you next time. Same scary movie, different final girl.